Welcome to class soulmate. So this is the design that we're going to be making. This is a trendy style that is known as a crisscross, either gown or top or whatever length you want to make it. It can have a short sleeve, it can have a long sleeve, but I prefer the long sleeve and I decided to make mine a long sleeve. Okay, you can see how beautiful it is, and this is what we'll be making. So here I folded my fabric into two. I don't know exactly the name of this fabric. It's looking like nets. It's looking like chiffon, whichever one you call it, it will answer. So for the back measurements, I'm going to take my shoulder divide by 2. This is where it is. And from there, I'm going to take the length of the sleeve that I want. This is just a simple way to get this because it's not going to have an inset sleeve. Okay, so what I folded is the length of the sleeve that I want, and this is the length of the gown. I want it to be at the knee, and that is where it is. Okay, if you want yours to be only a top, then it's fine. So for the neck width, I'm going to measure 3 inches. Okay, this is a basic measurement. I want it to be very close to the neckline, and that's why I'm taking 3 inches, and that is the best way to do it. So the shoulder, it's not needed since it's not going to have an inset sleeve. And the depth of the neckline for the back is I took 0.75. After fixing what looks like a collar to it, it's going to reduce. So I took 0.75 and I've marked the neckline out. Okay. Now at the base of the sleeve, that is where the sleeve stops, I'm going to come down by 1 inch and I'll connect it to that one, to the neck point. So after cutting the neckline, I'm going to be slanting from close to the neck point to the 1 inch that I slanted. Okay, so I'm taking my time to do this might not be so necessary, it's just optional because I want the shoulder line to just slope instead of hanging. Whichever way you want it, you can decide to leave it straight like that. It still does not matter so much. So at this point, I'm going to take the roundness of my sleeve. I took 11 to 12 inches here, 11 inches, then extra one for seam allowance. That's why I took it 12 inches. So it depends on how wide you want the sleeve to be. And this will now form my chest line or my bust line. So I'll divide my bust into 4 and mark. Then I'm going to add extra 2 inches to it and possibly extra 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, so it depends, but it's not okay if it is too big or then it is too fitted. But then the front is going to be adding a lot of allowance to it, so you don't have to make it too bogus. Okay, so once that is gotten, now mind you that you need to use the widest part of your measurement to do this so it doesn't become so fitted when you do not want it to be fitted. All right, so from there I'm going to form a kimono. I believe we know what a kimono is. So whatever you have at the upper part, that is measurements that you have at the lower part, and that's why it is necessary to use the widest part of your measurement to do this. So I'll cut the kimono design this way, and this is me making sure that everything aligns together. Okay, so this is for the back. I'm now going to place it on the front, which is going to be folded into two and we cut. Now this is done on a floor because it's too wide, so I place the back on a folded piece for the front. The where I'm touching is the sleeve area, and this is the center back where we're also going to have the center front. So I folded the back neckline in form of a V so that I can use that to get the shape of the front neckline, which is going to be in form of a V. All right, so from the neck point I'm going to slant to where I want it to stop. Okay, so I'll take the length of the blouse, the garment I'm making, and then the extension we have at the front should be long enough to come over to the neck back neckline and connect it this because that is where we're going to be joining what looks like the collar there. Okay, so the width here is the width of the collar that we want to sew at the back, which will also come to the front. I hope you're understanding what I'm talking about, but as we go further you're going to understand. I believe you actually do understand. So I'm cutting the side of the garment. This is the side where we have the sleeve. That is the part that I am cutting out like this. You can see the way it is. So I'll go over and cut the sleeve. That is the excess that extends after placing the back on the front. And then I'll go over to cut the shoulders. Continue to look at how I folded the back neckline over to form a V for the front neckline, which is about 6 to 7 inches in length after folding it. So my measurement for the front is going to start, my cutting is going to start at the neck point, okay, at the neck point. And you just have to follow the way I'm slanting my hand, and that is how you're going to slant yours too. Now you're slanting this to how much you want to fold the, should I say the collar or what looks like the collar, okay, or the width of the collar. Yeah, that's a collar now, okay. All right. So the width of the front crisscross, that is where we're slanting it to. So you can see the way it is. You can see the way it is. So this is now the front, which is going to be more like you're cutting an overlap jacket or overlapping top. Okay, that is just how it is, but just that this one is wide, it's quite long. The long is because it has to come to the back neckline and join together. Okay, so you need to make it as wide as long as possible. Now this is the back. I'm going to first of all join the shoulders, the front shoulder to the back shoulder of the two fronts. We're going to join the shoulders together. I'm taking this step by step so that we all understand. So I'm going to join the shoulders to this back shoulder line and join the other side of the front to the back shoulder line. Once we sew it, we'll come back and then I'll equally join the sides together, okay? We'll come back and continue. So this is it. I've joined the shoulders and I've also joined the sides. You can see the way it is. So what remains now is the crisscross that we're about to form. So this is one side of it. This is one side of it. This is the neckline. I'm going to locate the midpoint of the back neckline and give it a notch because that is where we're going to start fixing the collar. Okay, so I'll give it a notch there, the mid point of the back neckline. So I'll get one side of this. Remember, this is the front of the garment. I'll get one side like this and I'll get the other side, and I'm going to cross the two of them over to each other. So it depends on how you want to cross it. Anyhow you want to cross it. I'll cross this one this way, I'll cross this one this way. First of all, we'll still do another crossing, okay? But then let's join the neckline together. That is where the collar is going to be. So I'll pick this right side to right side, right, and then join them together like this fabric does not have right side to right side, doesn't have wrong side. Everything is just the same, but I assume that you understand what I mean by right side to right side. Okay, so I'm going to sew that part together. Now after joining it together, this is what I have. I'll put it together wrong side to wrong side. Okay, this is it, and I'm going to cross it again because like this it's not making sense. So we are crossing it again. You can see the way I crossed it, and now we are okay to fix it to our neckline. So I'm going to be starting from the midpoint of the back where I notched before. You remember? So I'll make sure I put everything together and then get the midpoint of the neckline, and that is where I'm going to start joining. You can see the way it is, sew it from the inside. Okay, so I'll just pin together. You can pin first of all to the shoulder line or below the extended more than the shoulder line, but then it's necessary that you join everything together. So I'm going to use my pin and pin to the extent that I can now. Once I finish sewing that part, I'll come back and show us so that we'll know what's next to do. This is quite simple and easy to do, right? Just that it consumes fabric. So once that is done, I'll continue to sew it for as long as I see a space to sew. I'll continue to join it together and we'll see how beautiful it came out on the mannequin. So beautiful. This design actually consumes a lot of fabric, up to 4 yards of fabric, okay, for you to achieve something long and beautiful as this. Hope you love it. You can see the color I was talking about. Hope you love it. I'll see you in our next video. Please give this video a thumbs up and thank you for watching. Bye.